Hello, Mr. Brown here, your science teacher. I make videos for students of all ages. Today, join me as we explore navigation at sea. All right, let's get out into the ocean. And the ocean is a scary, dangerous place. And for many thousands of years, sailors that went out would not go too far from land. They always kind of kept land in sight. Why? Well, because if you got lost at sea, it meant almost certain death. Why? Well, are you going to get thirsty? Look at all the water. Just scoop a cup of water and drink it, right? Well, what happens when you drink seawater? You die. It's poison. You can't drink seawater. And so if you're lost at sea, you're only going to survive until your fresh drinking water runs out, and then you're done. So it's a dangerous thing going out into the ocean. For starters, maps back in the old days were really bad. I mean, look at these things. And they included weird things on them like, I don't know, giant sea monsters and all kinds of weird things and serpents. And they just didn't know what was way out in the ocean, just a scary, unknown, dangerous place. So we need to fix that. We have a world to explore. And so we got to know how to tell directions if you are lost at sea before the invention of the compass. How do you know north, east, south, and west? Well, uh, east is fairly easy. You wait for the sunrise. Okay, sun came up, that must be east. Or you wait for the sun to go down. Sunset, all right, that's west. All right. North, this works great at night. You need to locate Polaris, the North Star. Here you can see using the Big Dipper as a guide or using Cassiopeia as a guide to show you the North Star, and that will point you north. You can use the moon to help find south. All you have to do is line up that shadow line right down, and that gives you south. It actually sort of works with crescent moons too, if you line up the shadow line. All right, so you can find north, south, east, and west using the stars, the moon, the sun. But what if it's cloudy and overcast? Well, you're lost then. It just simply doesn't work. You're lost at sea. Finally, around the year 1100 Common Era, we get the invention of the magnetic compass, which is simply a free-floating spinning magnet which aligns itself with the Earth's natural magnetic field. And it works great, and it's simple. All you got to do is hold it in your hand, and it points north. So now we have a tool called a compass, and we can find our directions, but so what? We're still lost. Hey, that's west. All right, great. How do we know where we are? We're lost. If you want to find your way around any planet, you need two pieces of information. You need to know your latitude and you need to know your longitude. Two pieces of information. All right. Latitude lines are the left and righty lines. Longitude are the up and downy lines, right? You bring those two pieces of information together and now you know exactly where you are on the surface of the planet. For example, hey, where are you? Letter B. Well, I'm at 40 degrees south latitude, 20 degrees east longitude. With those two pieces of information, you now know exactly where you are on the planet. The most famous line of latitude that you may have heard of is the equator. All right. So, how can we determine that? How do we know what line of latitude we are on? We use a tool called a sextant. Okay, did this video suddenly become PG-13? No, that's actually the name of the tool. It's called a sextant, and it is a device used to determine how far up above the horizon a sun or a star is. And we like to use Polaris, the North Star. We use our tool, the sextant, and we locate how far above the horizon. All right, for example, we look and we notice that Polaris is 45 degrees above the horizon from where we're at. That means we are at 45 degrees north latitude. Notice that Wisconsin is at 45 degrees north latitude, but it also means, well, we could be anywhere along this green line. Where are we? We know we're that far north, but are we here? Are we there? Are we in the middle of the ocean? We're going to need a second piece of information. We're going to need our longitude, okay? And you're going to need a clock for that, just to keep track of the time zones that you cross as you travel the world's oceans. Now, the first clocks were really bad at this. They used a pendulum that would swing back and forth like you see in these clocks, and in rough seas, it just doesn't work. It doesn't keep good time. What was needed is what's called a chronometer. It's just basically a really reliable clock that can withstand the swaying and rocking of ocean waves and keep good time. So right before you leave on your journey, set your chronometer or clock to high noon. As the sun is in the highest part of the sky, set it for high noon and off you go. After journeying for several days at the ocean, take another reading, look at the high noon sun, and your clock now says 3 hours difference. What that means is for every hour difference, you have traveled 15 degrees of longitude across the time zones. Now we have everything we need. We have a chronometer to give us longitude, we have a sextant to give us latitude, and we can now explore the world. So in these old pirate ships, there was always the captain's quarters. And what went on in there? Well, the captain had to have maps, a compass, a sextant, and a chronometer. Without any of those, the crew would be doomed. You'd be lost at sea, you'd run out of fresh water, and you die. Today, it's different. We have all sorts of really cool technology. We have two-way radios to keep in touch. We have weather radar, let us know when storms are coming. But most importantly, we have GPS, Global Positioning System. It's almost like it's cheating. It just tells you exactly where you are on the planet with the help of a nice orbiting constellation of satellites to help us out. But even though we still keep those old tools handy, here you can see a couple sailors practicing with the old sextants just in case the computers were to go down, right? So think about the old days when you see these romantic photos of ocean-going vessels. You got to remember, that's dangerous stuff. If they get lost at sea, it spells certain doom. Today, we are surrounded by all kinds of technology and radars and maps and radios and global positioning systems. But back in the old days, they didn't have that stuff. So for every one of these paintings you see, there's probably another one where the crew didn't make it. They got lost and it didn't end well for them. All right, so today there is all sorts of safety precautions, making travel on the world's oceans much, much safer. Thank you for joining me today on Navigation at Sea. I'm Mr. Brown, your science teacher. Goodbye.